Warning: this material contains content suitable only for those 18 years of age or older. It is crucial to understand that every chapter in this narrative is a product of imagination and holds no basis in reality. Dean cleared his throat before speaking. Yes, we shall begin. I will start by asking you to please refer to me as instructor during my teachings. It is more professional after all, he said, fully expecting the woman to regret his words. Much to his surprise, however, she simply said, "Sure thing, instructor. You can call me Mia." Dean froze for a moment upon hearing the blonde beauty's statement. He didn't think it would be so easy for him to assume the role of instructor, but looked like the ability proved him wrong. Mia, Dean thought, tossing the name around in his mind. It was a pretty name, a lot better than Dean, that's for sure. Okay, Mia, for your first cool-down stretch, bend down and touch your toes, said Dean with as much confidence and authority as he could muster. Thankfully, Mia complied, flexibly reaching down to her toes. It was a completely effortless movement, no doubt something she has done countless times. Satisfied with his manipulation, Dean thought of some suggestive poses he could put Mia in to further increase his lust. The possibilities are endless. Picking out one of the many ideas, Dean spoke. Next, I'm going to have you sit down and spread your legs. I want you to try and reach for your toes on either side. Changing positions, Mia sat and opened her slender legs, sending all kinds of signals to Dean's brain as he glanced at her crotch. I can almost see it, Instructor John thought. Is this good, instructor? Mia asked, reaching her hands way past her right foot. Yes, very good, Mia, he said, surprised at her flexibility. As much as I'd love to sit here and stare at her all day, I need points. There has got to be something I can do to unlock an achievement, Dean speculated. Suddenly, he had a thought. This might be pushing it too far, but it's all I can think of. Mia, Dean spoke. Yes, instructor? She asked as she resumed a normal sitting position. I'd like to try something a bit more extreme, but I promise what I'm going to do is great for your physical fitness, Dean proposed. Of course. What did you have in mind? Mia replied, eager to learn some new techniques. After agreeing, Dean moved over to Mia, getting way too close for what would be considered acceptable. What are you doing? Mia asked in surprise. She sincerely hoped this new instructor she found wasn't trying to do anything inappropriate. Sorry. It's just for the next techniques I show you. It would be better if I'm here to guide you through my touch. It would be bad if you pulled a muscle attempting to stretch in an improper fashion, Dean bullshitted. Oh, okay. I didn't know. I'm sorry for doubting you, instructor, Mia said, lowering her head. She felt terrible for being so quick to accuse when this nice young man was just trying to help her. No worries. Now, would you mind bending forward and reaching out in between your legs? Dean said. Nodding, Mia obliged, leaning forward and grasping at the floor in front of her. However, as she did this, she felt a hand caress her side. Looks like I didn't do the stretch properly, the fit blonde beauty thought. Smooth, Lisa commented after seeing Dean's antics. His methods were creative, to say the least. Dean was trying to keep it tame, just ever so slightly brushing against her sports bra as he touched her sides. After a few seconds, he instructed Mia to stand up, which she obeyed. Now try and put your leg up above your head. If you struggle at all, I will help you out, Dean said. Without protest, Mia lifted her lithe leg expertly above her head, leaving her crotch exposed to the horny instructor. Let's hope this works, Dean thought. Smiling, Dean moved forward and grasped at her outstretched leg. Slowly, and with deep care, he moved his hand down Mia's fit leg. Eventually, he reached the back of her thigh and without any hesitation, continued to her butt. I must have really messed this stretch up, Mia thought, not questioning her instructor's invasive touch. Dean held his breath, half expecting Mia to start accusing him of assault, but when she didn't say anything, he broke out into a vicious grin. Too easy. He suddenly began grabbing at her ass, even placing his other hand on it. Feeling it up every which way, Dean's shorts had a bulge subtly emerge. This is amazing! This firmness, the way it fills up my hands, it's just perfect!" he thought with enthusiasm. Wanting to get a bit more bold, he abruptly moved his hands toward Mia's crotch. However, before he could get there, "I'm sorry, instructor, but I have matters I have to attend to now. I still have to shower and then have an important call to make. Thank you for your help with my stretches. If I need you again, I'll let you know," Mia said as she broke away from Dean's grasp. Damn, and to think it was going so well. Dean thought with regret before speaking. "Ah, yes. I have things I must do as well. Please take care and don't be afraid to ask for my instructions in the future." With those parting words, Dean exited Mia's apartment. He still had many things he wanted to try with her, but knew he shouldn't push his luck. As he was walking down the hall, however, achievement earned. Grab ass, arouse someone by playing with their buttocks. 200 points have been added to your status. The blue and pink screen read out in front of him. Wait, she was aroused from that? I couldn't even tell. But wait, this could also be a means of losing my virginity, Dean surmised with excitement. If I can somehow convince her that having sex with me was beneficial to her physical fitness. How do you all like Instructor Dean? I think he's a really nice guy. I mean, he did help that woman for free after all. When Dean arrived back at his room, he laid back down on his tiny bed to check his status. Dean Fool, age 24, manipulation points 201, quest completed, 0, money $214, minds altered, 2, broke fool. Lisa commented on Dean's financial situation. God, you are so annoying, you know that? Dean said to the harsh voice in his head while inspecting his stats. Only 201 manipulation points. Now the real question is, do I use it on Mia or Jenny? Pondering for a second, he decided to save them to use when he saw them next. I'll wait until I actually see the girl before using them. Don't want to waste points when I don't even know if I'm going to see them. Say, Lisa, John called out. What is it, fool? She replied as rudely as ever. You said something about the more familiar a person is with something, the easier it is to manipulate them in that way, correct? He asked. Yes, I already told you this. Well, does it also work for me? If I am more familiar with the person, will it cost less to manipulate their perception of me? Dean theorized. I suppose even a fool can form a conscious thought every once in a while. Wait, so it does work? That's great. This means I'm better off going after Jenny since we've already been on a date and have kissed multiple times. But what should I change? Dean thought, coming up with ideas. Later that day, Dean was walking down to the communal laundry room in the apartment complex. I hate doing laundry, but I definitely won't escape being a loser if I stink all the time, he thought as he walked through the hallway. You got that right, fool, Lisa said briefly. Rolling his eyes and ignoring her, Dean opened the door to the laundry room, only to be surprised at what he saw within. Sitting next to one of the dryers was none other than Jenny. She was wearing soft purple pajamas, her perky nipples poking through the thin fabric. Her hair was sloppily put up in a bun, giving her a kind of cozy look one would only see if they lived with her. Today is my lucky day, Dean thought, getting excited at this unexpected but welcome development. He entered the room and sat his clothes next to a washing machine nearest to Jenny and put his clothes in. She had yet to notice his presence as her attention was on her phone, leaving him some time to think about what to do. Should I change something about her common sense right now? I've already changed like 4 things, but I still feel like I won't be able to have sex with her yet, Dean thought after putting his clothes in the washer. After that, he grabbed a nearby chair and moved it in front of Jenny. When he did, Jenny suddenly looked up from her phone and noticed the person now standing across from her. Dean? What brings you down here? She said with a smile, getting up to greet him. Locking lips with the silver-haired woman, Dean let his mind drift away in their succulent taste. However, before he could lose himself too much, Jenny pulled away, leaving him to only curse himself for not changing something else. Jenny sat back down and stared at Dean with relaxed eyes. It almost seemed like she had known Dean her whole life. Not the reaction I was expecting. I guess I did change her to not feel uncomfortable around me at all, so it makes sense, he thought. Oh, I just had some laundry to do. Say, do you mind showing me your boobs while we talk? He asked, holding back a chuckle as such a request was completely ludicrous. Oh, certainly, she said, unbuttoning her blouse without batting an eye at the request. His greeting still makes me feel so amazing. I wish I could kiss him some more. Her boobs were now on full display. Dean couldn't help but feel like a child on Christmas morning. This is the best gift ever. Thank you, ability, he thought as he stared at Jenny's pink nipples. She didn't seem to mind, however, just sitting there with a smile waiting for Dean to start up the conversation. After a few moments of getting lost in her milk bags, Dean spoke. I really enjoyed our date the other day. Would you perhaps like to go on another one? Remembering their date, Jenny didn't seem to mind the idea and said, Sure. Did you have a place in mind? With an amused smile, Dean replied, Actually, I was hoping we could just hang out in your apartment and watch a movie or something. Jenny thought for a second before speaking. Yeah, we could do that. It would have to be tomorrow, though. I'm very tired right now, so after folding my laundry, I'm going to bed. With a big grin, Dean said, Tomorrow it is. After those words, Dean leaned back in his chair and began thinking. Tomorrow, huh? That would be day 4/7 of the quest. Is there anything I can change that would get me laid before then? He began thinking about what would be the most cost-effective approach. It seems like the more conditions I add to something, the less manipulation points it costs. For instance, if I said she would have sex with me whenever I wanted, it would be very expensive. But if I said she would only have sex with me on her birthday, it would cost significantly less. With this being said, how can I use this quirk to my advantage during our next date? Smart thinking, for a fool that is, Lisa commented. However, Jenny's dryer just finished, prompting her to get up and collect her clothes. After she was done, she turned to say farewell to Dean. Bye, Dean. I'll be looking forward to our date tomorrow, she said with anticipation leaking from her voice. Goodbye, Jenny, Dean said as he put his hands behind his head to think. I'm getting my dick wet tomorrow in one way or another for sure. After finishing up his laundry, Dean headed back to his room, eager to brainstorm some ideas for his upcoming date. I only have 201 points, so if I want to do something sexual with Jenny, I'm going to need to add some conditions to lower the cost, he reasoned. Thinking for a while, Dean eventually settled on an idea and attempted to activate it. It is completely normal for Jenny to give me a full-service blowjob, if I ask for it, at the end of any date where we watch a movie. When he finished that thought, he heard the ding, leaving him with a triumphant smile. Checking his stats, he found it took 182 points, leaving him with 19 manipulation points left. Chuckling to himself, Dean thought, I can't wait. The following day, Dean could be found standing outside Jenny's door. Okay, you got this, dude. It's just a date with a super hot girl with big boobs in her room. Nothing too crazy, thought Dean not too convincingly. Calm down, dumbass. There's literally no way to mess this up. You have manipulated her mind so much already, Lisa said. I guess you're right. Steeling himself with Lisa's words, Dean knocked on Jenny's door. One moment, he heard her shout from the other side. Maybe she's putting on something nice? Dean fantasized, imagining her wearing some sexy lingerie. However, the sound of a door handle rattling broke him away from his impure thoughts as he saw Jenny open the door to her apartment. She was wearing pajamas? They were very similar to what she wore yesterday, only now they were pink. I guess she does feel comfortable with me enough to not care what she looks like. Though, looks like her mind took comfortable quite literally, he thought. Suddenly, Jenny moved in for their greeting, which Dean quickly reciprocated, meeting her lips in the doorway. His lips make me feel so good, Jenny thought, rubbing her legs together as something in between them started tingling. Pulling away, she invited Dean in with a hand gesture. I could kiss her forever. Oh, this is nice. John thought upon seeing Jenny's apartment. It was similar to his own in size, with a small living room that then connected to a bathroom and bedroom. Her living room had a small couch, coffee table, and TV. "Are we going to watch the movie out here?" Dean asked. "Not unless you want to. I was thinking it would be better in my room. My bed is much comfier and the TV is larger," Jenny replied. "No, I mean no, we can watch it in your room," Dean blurted out awkwardly. Finally, he would get to be alone in a girl's room with her. "Okay," Jenny said enthusiastically, walking into her room. When she opened the door, Dean inspected her room. It was cramped, much like his own, with a double bed in the center and a dresser in front of it holding up a TV. The bed had sheets with a flower print and was covered in pillows. A few posters were hanging on the walls depicting many different bands or artists. "Well, this is a little underwhelming," Dean thought. "What were you expecting, dumbass?" Lisa asked in a teasing manner. "I was never mind," replied Dean. As they entered, Jenny hopped on the bed and grabbed the TV remote, quickly selecting a movie. Upon seeing this, Dean took a deep breath before sitting down on the bed next to her, still a little hesitant to be so bold. But thankfully, Jenny thought it was normal, bringing slight relief to Dean. She then turned on a random movie and laid back happily. "That's it?" Dean thought. "I guess all I said was we should watch a movie. Maybe I need to make the first move." A few minutes into the movie, Dean ever so slowly began inching closer to Jenny, while he did change her mind to not feel uncomfortable around him. That's all it was. Around him. That didn't mean he could feel her up as much as he wanted. He had to cross that threshold himself. About half an hour in, he was sitting practically shoulder to shoulder with Jenny, which signaled the next step in his plan. With an over-exaggerated yawn, he stretched his arm up and around Jenny's shoulder. Jenny didn't seem to mind, only continuing to watch the movie. Success, Dean thought. Now for my next trick. "Hey, Jenny," he whispered. "Do you mind showing me your tits?" "Not at all," she replied, undoing the buttons on her pajamas and releasing her plump flesh. Dean's heart almost stopped when she did this. He had never been so close to boobs before. In fact, one of them was even touching his chest right now. With extreme self-control, Dean held himself back from pouncing on her right there and then. "Not yet. Your time will come, little guy," he thought, speaking to his raging boner. Fool. The movie eventually came to an end, causing Dean to become more and more excited. After the credits rolled, Jenny stood up and was about to say her goodbyes. "This has been nice, Dean," she said with her tits still hanging out. "I would love to do this again sometime." "Indeed it has, but before I go, mind if I ask you for a favor?" Dean said, struggling to find the right words. "Yeah, sure, what is it?" Jenny asked. "Could you please give me a blowjob?" He stuttered. "Oh, that. Why, of course. It's only normal after all," Jenny said while getting on her knees in front of Dean. Seeing this, Dean's eyes went wide before he frantically undid his pants. Jenny waited patiently, just staring at him with her light purple irises, and a strand of silver hair hung over her face. After getting his pants undone, he revealed his average-sized penis, causing Jenny to reach forward, grasping at it with soft hands. "First blowjob, here I come." Jenny grasped Dean's cock, causing him to tense up a little. It wasn't out of pain but pleasant surprise, as he had never felt anyone else touch his dong. She slowly began stroking it with her right hand while licking her left. She then placed both hands on him, stoking up and down in a rhythmic motion. "Fuck," Dean thought. "This feels so much better than using my own hands." However, the handjob couldn't last forever, as Jenny removed one of her hands and opened her mouth. Moving forward, Dean could see her saliva dripping off her tongue as she wrapped her lips around his tip. Inside her mouth, Dean could feel her tongue swirling around his head, causing him to release a short moan from pleasure. "Damn," he cursed out loud, trying his best to hold back an orgasm. "I can't come this quickly or this would be a complete waste." He struggled to endure, clenching his teeth and fists. "Hey," Lisa chuckled out. Jenny didn't do this forever, as she instead began swallowing his cock down to the base. Dean's eyes rolled back as she did this, drowning in ecstasy. As she moved her head up and down his shaft, She fondled his balls, stopping every now and then to like and suck on them. Thankfully, he was nice enough to shave. It was at this point Dean almost lost his mind. He had never felt pleasure like this before, and no amount of porn and lotion could ever compare. However, before he was about to come, Jenny took his cock in down her throat, balls deep. Shit. Dean, upon feeling this, grabbed the back of her head and attempted to thrust. He felt as if he was ascending to heaven as he grunted out, "I am coming." His tip suddenly exploded with a clear white liquid, shooting directly down Jenny's throat. Even while this happened, she never attempted to remove her mouth from Dean's cock, allowing him to throat pie her. She expertly swallowed his cum and slowly removed her lips from his penis. However, before her lips fully left, she gave one last suck and lick to Dean's throbbing tip, cleaning off whatever leftover cum was on it. With a short pop, she removed her mouth fully from his cock, leaving Dean to almost collapse. His legs felt wobbly, no doubt something he had never felt from an orgasm before. Wiping her lips with her hand, Jenny spoke. "This has been fun. Let me know if you'd like to do this again sometime. Goodbye, Dean." Looking down at the silver-haired woman that just sucked his soul out, Dean noticed her eyes signaling for him to leave. "I'd really like to do more, but for one, my dick is now limp, and two, I haven't manipulated her enough," he reasoned. It sure was fun. Thank you for your hospitality, Jenny. I'll be going now," Dean said, stumbling towards the door. He somehow kept himself upright enough to exit her apartment and head back to his own. Eventually, he regained full use of his legs and was able to walk just fine. While walking back, the familiar pink and blue screen of the ability appeared in his vision. Achievement earned. First blowjob. Receive a blowjob from someone. 300 points have been added to your status. Achievement earned. Throat pie. Come down someone's throat. 400 points have been added to your status. What? Dean exclaimed. 700 points? If I could get a blowjob for less than 200, I can for sure have sex with 700, he thought excitedly. Hurry up and lose your virginity already, dumbass, Lisa said. Can't you ever be happy for me? Dean thought as he walked back into his apartment. I'll be happy when you lose your virginity and we can finally start using the system for real. Lisa replied. What's this supposed to mean? You'll see. Following Lisa's words, Dean made himself some instant ramen to eat. I really need money, can't just keep eating ramen, he thought with determination. When I'm done conquering Jenny, I must find some way to use the ability to make money. Maybe I'll make a return as Instructor Dean. After finishing his pitiful excuse of a meal, Dean went to his room to inspect his status. Dean Fool. Age, 24. Manipulation points, 719. Money, $214. Minds altered, 2. 719 points. I don't even know what to do with all of them, Dean thought, imagining what shameless ways he could manipulate women. 6 1,000ths achievements. I wonder how long it will take me to unlock them all. Hey Lisa, I never got around to it, but what is your purpose? It seems like all you do is insult me, he said after inspecting his stats. Fool, I'm here to assist you in the use of the ability, she replied with loathing. Assist me? But all you've done so far is verbally assault me? Dean accused. Fool. I have answered every question you've asked me about the system, have I not? Also, I insult you to give you motivation. If all I did was praise you, you would get complacent, she said. Thinking back to all their interactions, Dean realized that she did answer any questions he directed at her, as well as help in other situations. I suppose you're right. Well then, care to answer some of my burning questions? What questions do you have, dumbass? Well, I was wondering, I can manipulate anyone, right? Does that include myself? He asked cleverly, ignoring her usual insults. Lisa took a moment to answer, either stunned at his stupidity or smart thinking. Yes, you can. I wouldn't recommend it, though. You are much too ignorant of the system right now to safely attempt such a thing. Stick to other people. For now. Lisa finally replied. So I can... This adds a whole new world of tests and possibilities I have to try. Dean anticipated. But before all that, I have to lose my virginity. He thought before attempting to change Jenny's common sense once more.